Thanks for staying with us at STL Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and my guests are Philip Boehm and John Bratkowski from Upstream Theater's new play, Sweet Revenge. And I kind of want to pick back up on this discussion and really let people know who are watching this. What is the play actually about? I mean, we know it's a comedy.
So Alexander Fredro, the author of the play, inherited an old castle. He was digging through some papers. He found out that there had been a feud in this castle. And this feud was about property, because of course property gets divided up and gets passed around, and so you have different people living in what was once one entity, but it's like having, you know, the successive divisions of property. And so there's a wall that separates this one household from another household, and this wall has just always been there. And one neighbor gets it in his head to fix the wall, and the other neighbor, that you can't do that, and he gets really mad. And meanwhile, his ward, the young niece, played by Caitlin Mickey in our production, is getting together with the other guy's son, played by Pete Winfrey, and the two older actors are Whit Reichert and John Contini, as these other men. And these two families, there is this back and forth, and the young couple, and then there's the widow played by Jane Paradise. And in our production, we have Eric J. Connors, who's coming in and playing a number of different roles here and there. And there's this feud, and there's this fight, and then there's a clash of wills, and it's all very funny.
Right.
But it's a neighborly dispute, and because it's about a wall, and if you look at the topography of St. Louis seems to be all about walls, but what's underneath? And underneath we have these buildings here in which magic happened, like in this Polish theater, in this Polish church.
Right. So sort of the struggles, when you say in the description it says pokes fun at human folly, it's sort of...
Yes, but these are people with great foibles, but they're very sympathetic.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, we talked about earlier that this was Philip translated this from Polish verse, and so there's a meter to that. Can you give us an example? Give us a line from the play.
My entrance is, we always do it loud.
His character is an over-the-top character.
My character is an over-the-top character.
An over-the-top.
Over the top. All right. So we'll get a sample of what that. Just a little example of what that may mean.
God be with you, my lord squire. Here is Popkin at your behest, fast as wind and fierce as fire, charging forth like a man possessed. I've worn out 100 steeds. My coach lies ruined in the weeds.
That's pretty meter. I mean, I can hear that in there. Is that difficult to do that throughout the entire play?
Not really. No, not the way Philip does it. No.
Really?
No, it's not. It's not really. It is important to get the rhymes correct, and that takes a lot of work. But it flows. My impression is that it works much more with Polish than English. We're not as used to that particular meter as
it's more common. I mean, it's a Moliere. English tends towards a pentameter, and this is a tetrameter. But there are poems. Burns used a tetrameter, but plays are seldom written in tetrameter. Old comedies maybe.
And is your translation? I mean, I wouldn't say exact is the right word, but I mean, how many liberties did you have to take to sort of translate it to make it sort of?
I think I translate professionally novels and things, and I think this gives a fair representation of things. Sometimes you have to go out of your way, but I tell you what, you learn Polish and you tell me.
Then we'll see. So when people go, we have to get ready and wrap things up. But when people see this play, they're gonna obviously laugh. And what do you think they'll walk away sort of feeling or taking away from it?
They'll be very upbeat because it has a pleasant ending.
Yeah, and it does take us back to St. Louis, but in a way that I think is upbeat, as John says.
It is upbeat. They will like the characters. I hope mine in particular, but they will like all the characters, and they will recognize these character types from their own lives.
Yeah.
Though, obviously in this place they're much more over the top.
Oh, it sounds really exciting, and just a very clever way to bring something to St. Louis that people didn't really know about, I think on a mainstream perspective. So congratulations, break a leg this weekend and for this month. And we've got the information there for you on the screen. It's Sweet Revenge, presented by Upstream Theater Company, taking place October 6th through the 22nd at Kranzberg Arts Center. For more information, go to upstreamtheater.org. There's more STL Live right after this. Please stay with us.